Pope Francis. He has now says that priests can bless same-sex couples, but yeah, you don't like that, given your side. What?
No. So the reason I reacted initially negatively was because I get really sick of the church just making like these weird statements that don't help queer Christians navigate their lives. I think clarity is a form of love. And when you just make things really blunt and come out with a statement out of nowhere, it like worsens the existential dilemma that all of us are in. So I think what a lot of the like established institutional church doesn't understand is what queer Christians are actually going through. And I think Roman Catholic tradition is very clear on what marriage is, natural law, that whole Aquinas tradition. It's like, it's solid. That's never going to change. It just can't, because it's like part of being Roman Catholic, you know? And I think, well, I'm an Anglican, and I believe the scriptures are the ultimate authority for our lives. And I think when you go to the highest place of academia and you ask a lot of, you know, New Testament scholars, they're like, yeah, it is really clear. I just disagree with it, you know? And so I had searched through all of that, but I realized those things actually aren't as important as how the church does this and how the church actually responds to queer Christians. And I never hear anything constructive. The Church of England came out just the day before with their prayers of love and faith, which were super like a fudge. Yeah. Where it was like, we can bless this, but we can't. And I just thought, that's not actually going to help queer Christians navigate this. You know, I'm not just looking for the church to affirm my perspective. I'm looking for the church to create a constructive theology that actually works with their real convictions. And instead of doing that, they chose this like political fudge that I found, you know, having done some work with the bishops and advised them, like something that basically no one was happy with. And then the Pope came out with his statement and written statement about blessing gay couples. And initially I thought that was like him affirming the Church of England. And I reacted very negatively. I was like, this is cowardice. This is like saying you can have your cake and eat it too. It's not facing the reality of the dilemma of what queer Christians actually go through, which is we have to face the idea that our desires are misaligned with the created order. And some of us say, I don't agree with that. And some of us say, I do. And I'm going to try to live in a life of flourishing. And instead of facing that dilemma with queer Christians, it's just like these statements that like, we will bless you in your irregular relationship. Like that for me just like that's going back to where we were like in the 1990s. Like, what do you want me to do? Roll you out a red carpet for blessing people? I can bless a gay couple, you know, who are my friends, even though I disagree with that as a side B Christian. I can say, I bless you as individuals. I love you. You're like part of my community, you know, like you've gone through something that's so intimately similar to what I've gone through. And I want to show you solidarity. I don't agree with you necessarily in terms of fellowship or how, you know, sexual holiness works, but I love you and I can bless you and you can bless me. Like, I don't really see that as very remarkable. And yet the church is making this huge deal out of it. And that doesn't freight for me. The real hard work that the church needs to do is ask the question, if we do think marriage is between a man and a woman, that scripture is clear about this, and this is a revelation of God, how do queer Christians flourish within that? And let's do the constructive work to make that possible. Or change your view. I don't think there's like much of an in-between there. And they're trying to create this in-between. Do you know what I mean? And I don't, that I think keeps triggering a lot of trauma for the queer community. On the other hand, I do think it's good that the church is blessing gay people and recognizing that God is involved in queer people's lives. Like, that is good. And that is, I suppose, in some sense, a kind of deeper movement towards where God really is. And I think what I work as a theologian is I'm interested in being where God is. I'm constantly trying to say, where are you, God? Where are you actually? And I want to be there. And if I'm not, please save me from that. You know, and the church needs to be constantly asking that question. Where is God already?